Hey there, guys. Hey, I know I've said it before. I've been kind of a broken record on this subject, but it bears repeating again. Football Manager is about more than just your tactics. It's also about how your squad gets together. So we'll look here at the tactic. This is by no means an awesome tactic. This is just sort of a normal tactic, but it's done actually quite well. In that we've been able to score a number of goals and we've been able to get good performances from these players. But I would say that part of the reason is because some of these players are really quite good. I mean, Petu Poli, for example, was number 2 in scoring in this league last year, and is definitely a leading player for this division. We were able to get him, of course, for free on a free transfer. Toa Maele, I don't think we need to say too much about him. He was the leading scorer next year, and I discovered that it's good to have them playing together. They get along well, and it's good to have one of them in front of the other. In fact, we should probably do this like this, have Maele play a little bit further back. Fawa Danielson is actually not really a right wing player more than he's most really a striker. Says that he's a fringe player who could improve, but he's actually played a lot better than that for us and had a number of absolutely excellent performances for us. Again, this is an example of having players who are very, very good and sort of fitting them into roles that they can play in and that they can be sort of halfway decent at. And of course, Hengi Ikuvalu is another player who was probably the best goaltender in the entirety of American Samoa, and has great performances, though every once in a while he puts up a real stinker for us. The reason why I bring this up as I look through this team, make a couple of really quick changes, is because the truth is that as good as you think your tactic is really going to be no better than the personnel that you have playing it, right? In other words, like your tactic might be fine and you might look at it and say, oh yeah, this works for other people and all this other stuff. But the thing that really matters is who are your players? Do they get along together? Do they not get along together? How often do they play with each other? And are they improving in terms of squad dynamics and things like that? We go over here and look at our dynamics for this club. Despite having some poor performances, some losses and stuff, we're seeing good team cohesion. Club atmosphere continues to improve. I have fairly good managerial support. It says there are a number of players who don't like me that much, which is funny because if I go over here to management support, I see a lot of players who are happy with me. So I'm not quite sure exactly what that refers to. Might be these concerns about training, but whatever. I don't have time to sit around and try to figure out exactly how that dumb training system works. And as you can see, everybody supports me. So there you have it. Oh, I'm sorry. They'll have no real opinion of me. I mean, whatever. We're all together in similar social groups and so on and so forth. For me, that's the part really that's more important than the tactics themselves. Now, at this level, of course, playing in this amateur league, we could probably take just about any downloaded tactic and stick it on this team and have some level of success. But, I mean, there is an argument to be made for doing that if you were in this situation, you probably would just use whatever tactic you read about. But it really is kind of fun to do it this other way. It's kind of fun to sit down and mess around with it a little bit and see what happens if you put this player in this position or that player in that position. See what happens if you sort of mess around with things a little bit. See if you can stop your players from just taking shots from like way out there and all of these other things that we like to do. Right. And it's been a lot of fun really to sort of mess around with that. There's a couple of other fun things that happen in Football Manager that you might miss out on if you're not really looking for it. So, for example, you can get a overview here of your next opponent and how they play. And so they play the Catenaccio style, and you can look and see, who is their best player, probably Teoni, who's probably going to play here as a striker. And you can look at your team and say, is there like some way that we're going to shut him down? You can even get to the point where you can tell one of your players, like, say, this guy, Palepua, to go ahead and, stick on that player. So we could, let's see if I can figure out how to do this. There we go. We could put on individual instructions, and we could, let's see, mark a specific player here and say, hey, I want you to mark Teoni in specific, so I want you to try to stop him. So we could do that. We could have it so that for the next match, Palepua is going to have that instruction of trying to mark the other player and see if we can stop him before he does something crazy or good against us. So you can see stuff like that. You can see what their performance is like overall. They tend to have a let's see. There we go. This is our goaltender. I'm trying to look and see here. Yeah, next opponent performs. I'm not sure why it's showing me my own performance. Oh, here we go. This is their goaltender, which is lots of saves, leaky defense, which is another good thing for us, and so on and so forth. We can like dig really close into this. We can see, how is it that we stack up fully against them. Are there things that we can take advantage of when we go through the data center and stuff like that? There are people who you can find on Reddit and on other websites that really spend a lot of time looking through these scouting reports and analyst reports and stuff like that, trying to figure all this stuff out and figure out like exactly what sort of advantage we might have and how they score their goals and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff that you can look into that if you were using a downloaded tactic, you probably wouldn't end up looking look at so closely. As you can tell, I mean, I'm not necessarily the best person in the world at doing this, but we can look into this from time to time. I'm actually not really that worried about our upcoming match against, let's see, who are we playing against Lionheart. There we go. They're in fourth position here. I'm not too worried about them. The team that I'm mostly worried about are these guys, which is the team that I would really, really prefer to beat if possible. Now, we did beat them in a friendly during the international break, 4-2, but unfortunately that was a friendly. We have to figure out a way to get this team to lose, because if we can get this team to lose, we can make up for some lost ground and see if we can't get ourselves back into the Champions League. So there you have it. One way or another, though, you can go into this, you can get as into the data hub as you want. You can get as deeply into things like, their statistics pack and all this other stuff as you want. I don't know how much stuff this really tells me, but you can really, really dig into it deep. And you also need to remember, as always, that it's about more than just the tactic itself that you're putting out. There's a lot of real deep, intricate stuff you can get into in Football Manager. Anyway, there you go. Talk to you later. Bye.